What's up, John Sonnemis here from simpleprogram.com. I'm in Tuscany region here. You can check out the view, Italy. And it looks like it's really hot outside, but it actually isn't. It's kind of crazy how it was like in the 90s, like Fahrenheit, and then all of a sudden September rolls around, like just a couple days, and the whole countryside is like, all right, time to cool down, and it did drop down like 20 degrees. So I'm gonna do a video on a topic that I had on my Trello board that I was gonna avoid doing because I'm waiting for the right time to do it. I was talking about why I always get what I want, but I wanted to sort of double down on this and go into a little bit more detail and talk about why it is that I always get what I want and what I mean by that. And I don't know, does that sound arrogant to say that you always get what you want? Does it? I guess more than arrogance, I think when someone says I always get what I want, I think that maybe you're like waiting for the shoe to drop. You're like, oh, you shouldn't have said that. Now you're gonna get shit is gonna happen to you, so you're gonna be cursed, right? You'll see, you're tempting fate. You're giving fate the middle finger. Let's see what happens now. Yeah, so don't worry, it already happened actually. When I said that, I got a bunch of stuff. I actually did a video on all the like more money, more problems, and I was talking about what happened to me. But you know what? I don't believe it. I'm not buying it, and I'm still gonna tempt fate further because I don't give a shit. Because fate can be a fickle bitch, but you know what? I'm still the master. I'm still the master of me, and fate can try and do what she wishes to me, but I'm gonna keep on fighting because I'm not gonna submit. So anyway, what I'm talking about here is that in general, right? And then this is why, and this is what this means, right? This doesn't mean, sometimes I tell people I always get what I want. I say, well, why don't you want $1 million right now to appear in your hands? Will you get that? And I'm like, no, you're kind of missing the point. So let me tell you like how this works. There's a couple of elements to this, right? And it always seems to manifest. So what I want, and I did this video, it's kind of interesting. Like here's just one example. My AirPods manifested. I did this video thanking Noah Kagan for sending me these AirPods, and I was just thinking about wanting some AirPods, and then bam, they showed up, and right at my doorstep, like a couple days later. And that's, that kind of stuff happens to me. And there's some woo-woo magic to that. I don't know exactly what that is. It's like positive affirmations, like the universe bending to my will. But I kind of believe that the universe does bend to your will. I kind of feel like reality itself can kind of bend itself to your will. There's this manifestation. And here's a good book on it, sort of. I did a book review on this book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Really, really good book. It's kind of funny. I was just doing a call with my mastermind group, the Entreprogrammers. One of the Entreprogrammers, Chuck, he was reading a book by the same author with some of the same content about manifesting. So you might think that that's kind of weird, new age, woo-woo, kind of bullshit, no science behind that. But I'd encourage you to read that book because he has a very scientific mind, and there's really no convincing you, right? I mean, the only way that you're gonna believe this kind of stuff is if you see it yourself. As I was talking about this idea, I'm going a little off topic, but bear with me, it all comes together. I was talking about this idea, and I realized that Jung, the psychologist, more of a philosopher psychologist really, that Carl Jung, the Jungian philosophy, that he has this this term called synchronicity, and that's what this is. So it's kind of interesting. I hadn't heard of this before, but there it is. There's like this whole thought behind this, and so synchronicity is really a good label for what I'm talking about, because it describes something that I've sort of detected in the universe myself, and through various means. And someone else has studied this and written about this extensively. So I'd like to read up on that. I haven't gotten a chance. I've got some of his books on my book list now to read up on that. So there's definitely been some thought and research in this, and it's definitely something I wouldn't ignore in your life. But that's not. But there's some pragmatic and practical stuff. I mean, I'm hitting the woo-woo stuff first, okay? Give me a break here. But we'll get into some of the practical. So when I say that I always get what I want, I don't mean instantaneously. And here's the other thing about it, okay? One of the reasons why this works out for me, I think I'll start with the woo-woo part of it, like I said. But one of the reasons why it works out is because I honestly believe that good things are going to happen, and that I'm going to get good things to happen to me, and that I'm going to get what I'm asking for, right? And it doesn't, I don't specify the way. That's the other thing, is right. So, and again, in that book that I recommended, the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, he also talks about not specifying the way, but just, you know, letting it happen however it will, but having the will for it, for the thing or the event to happen, but not trying to force it, not specifying the way. And that's the same thing, is I'm willing to let it happen however it's going to happen, but I'm determined on what I set my mind onto. I believe it's going to happen, right? I don't know how, I don't know what is gonna take it there, but I believe that it will. And so I think that's one key element, right? Because if you're trying to force something, you mess them up, okay? So one of the key elements, like I said, is that I don't try and make it happen. I just believe it's going to happen, and but I take effort, I take action, right? So once I latch onto the thing, I do the auxiliary things that are going to make that thing happen. So if I want to accomplish something or do something, I'm doing the work, I'm putting in all the training, right, for that event. I'm basically making myself prepared for when opportunity happens, so that I'll be ready for it, because opportunities happen all the time, right? I've talked to you guys about this a lot, and it's just that most people aren't ready for them. So you've had the winning lottery ticket in your hands, so to speak, right? It's just that you didn't know. You didn't know it. And most of us, right, have had these opportunities. I talked about how Pluralsight, you can check out my Pluralsight story here, but I talked about how Pluralsight was one of those huge opportunities for me, and I did take advantage of it, but other people had that opportunity and they didn't. And so you've had that winning lottery ticket. So anyway, you know, I have a firm belief, a positive belief, that everything is going to work out for me, that it's all good, that you know, when situations happen, I know it's going to work out. I know somehow some magical thing is going to fall into line, and the path is going to line up, the road is going to rise up underneath my feet, and everything is going to be smooth. And I believe that because it's happened so many times, right? And I choose to believe that because that's the best way to believe, right? Because that's the motivating way. That's going to make you take the actions that are necessary for it to happen, right? If you don't believe, and here's some kind of pragmatic, logical way of thinking about this. If you don't believe something is going to happen, what do, right? If I told you, you know, that if I told you that you had better get ready, because on Monday you're going to get $1 million. So you better figure out how you're going to spend that money or invest that money. And you're like, bullshit, John. That's not going to happen, right? And so you don't do anything. You don't prepare for it, right? You don't get that that forklift to move all that dough around, right? You don't do anything. But if you believed me, what would you do? How would you start preparing? You'd start taking lots of action. And so it's the same thing. It's not the best analogy. I'm trying to think of a better one. But anyway, I think you get the point. The point is that when you believe something is going to happen, or you believe something's true, you take action, which facilitates that thing, right? You take the action that paves the way. But if you don't believe it, right, then it's not gonna happen, right? I'll give you a better analogy. If I said, you know, the world is ending in 10 days, okay? You could believe that, and you'd be doing all kinds of crazy shit. I don't know what you'd be doing, right? You'd be like, I don't know, you'd be like, oh man, I gotta fucking give away all my shit and have as much fun and say goodbye to my friends and family and have a party, or what, I don't know. You'd be doing a lot of stuff, right? But if you didn't believe me, right, and there's been a lot of people that said the world's gonna end, and people don't believe them, and if you don't believe that, you're not gonna take any action, you're not gonna do anything, and if it did end, you wouldn't be ready for it. Not that you could really be ready for it anyway. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, the point is just simply that if you believe something to be true, you take action. If you don't, you don't. And a lot of times that's how self-fulfilling prophecies work, is that if you believe the thing, you take the actions to bring the thing forward, or to make it happen, to pave the way. If you don't, then you don't. So there's that piece of it, okay? There's another piece of it, which again, I could probably address this in multiple videos, but I'll try and kind of do an overview here. But the other piece of it is that I'm careful at for what I want. See, sometimes people say, hey John, you say you get everything you want, but did you want that big bill? Did you want that parking ticket? Did you want whatever it was to happen to you? No. Well, sort of, right? I didn't want that specifically, but I wanted to develop my character. I wanted to grow stronger. I wanted to test myself from time to time to see if I can pass a test, to give me a little bit more grit, a little bit more character, so a little bit of hardship, a little adversity to make me tougher. So I guess I did want that. See what I'm saying? So, and then the other piece of that is that the things that I do want, I pick really carefully, right? So there's not a big list. There's not, when you look at John's list of things that he wants, it's not a big fucking list. It's not like I want all of this, like, oh, give me all this money, give me a nice car, give me a nice house, like all this stuff. Nah, I'm pretty content with what I have. I'm pretty content with nothing. I'm pretty content with just being by myself with a camera, I guess. I don't know. But you see what I'm saying? It's like, there's not a lot I want. Not really. So when I do want something, and there are times, I fucking go for it, right? Not a lot of shit gets in the way. If you got a big list of shit that you want, okay, then it's sort of difficult to focus on any one thing. But if you got one goal, if you got, you know, a mind like a steel fucking trap, if you're like a fucking bulldog, check out that video on being like a fucking bulldog, you attack the thing that you want, and you're much more likely to get it. So when I want something, nothing fucking stops me from getting it. You see what I'm saying? Because it's the only thing that I want, because my list has one item on it at a given time. I don't have 50 things on there. I'm like, well, I kind of want this and I want this, and I'm kind of moving in 5 different directions at the same time. No. I'm moving down one direction like a fucking bulldog, like a fucking bulldozer, going after the thing that I want. So that's it. That's sort of the secret sauce. And the funny thing is, you know, it all comes down to the same thing, right? It's having a very clear picture of what you want. It's having a burning desire to achieve that, and it's taking the action and being willing to execute on that, and belief that it's going to happen. It's all of those elements. That's why, see, it's not really magic. I mean, there's still some element to it, I'll be honest, that is unexplained at this moment in time. Maybe quantum mechanics could explain it. I don't know. I mean, most things that we thought were magic eventually got explained by science, and now they're testable. Maybe this thing won't. I don't know, right? It's like looking for the first cause. I don't know. you get into a really weird conundrum whether you're an atheist or a theist. It doesn't matter. Either way you go down looking for the first cause, you run into a philosophical problem. But that doesn't matter. And again, I've done the video on this. I can't remember what it was called, but I was talking about why something works, but it works, right? And so it's the same thing here, right? You can say, John, you know, I'm sorry, but I like your like practical advice. But this kind of bullshit, this kind of woo-woo stuff, I'm a scientist, man. I'm a computer scientist. I don't believe any of this stuff that I can't touch with my hands and that doesn't have matter. Like, this is woo-woo stuff. You got confirmation bias, all this shit. Fine. You don't have to understand why this works. You don't have to believe my explanation for why it works, which, again, I'm just saying that there's a mysterious piece here that I don't know. That's what we call magic, okay? But you don't have to believe that. But still look at the equation. The equation still works, right? It could be, you know, that you don't understand, but the formula is this. It's simply this. Like I said, know what you want. Choose carefully what you want. Be focused. Have a strong emotional connection to what you want. Believe you'll get it. And drive after it and be willing to do the work. Be willing to pay the price for what you want. And then you will get everything that you want as well, right? And it happens. Everything, I mean, there's nothing I can think of that I haven't wanted out of life that I haven't gotten. It's true. I know it sounds really bizarre. And somehow, every situation always turns to the good for me, somehow. And, you know, and again, you might be able to say, well, John, I think it's because you just manipulate the thoughts in your mind. Like, you actually are manipulating the situation and making it appear that it's what you wanted and that it's good for you. You know what? That's why me and Fate, even though we have this kind of rocky relationship, even though she's sometimes like, you're gonna have to sleep on the couch, motherfucker, even though she does that shit to me, we get along good, right? Because, you know, I kind of want what she's gonna give me. I kind of decide that I want that whatever Fate is gonna give me, that's what I want, right? And that's the secret. Once you figure that shit out, it all becomes easy. But it doesn't mean that you know, that I don't ever set a destination or something. I just believe that all of the things, good or bad, that they all work out for me. And that's the key, right? Is that, all right, this has been far too long of a video. So I'm gonna say arrivederci. And if you haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button below. Make sure you click the bell so you don't miss any of these videos. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.